Hi, my name is James Holroyd from PocketSurvey Cloud Surveying Software. Welcome to this short training session. I'm going to show you how the light fire risk assessment software works and how to create your assessment reports quickly and easily. It should be about 15 minutes long. The light versions of the PocketSurvey software are cheaper than the Pro versions but still have great functionality. Contact us to get your monthly subscription at the vastly reduced price. The first thing to mention about the app is that it's designed for mobile devices, but also works great on desktop computers. There's only one interface to learn, which looks the same on all devices. So you can use it on Apple or Android, tablets and phones, as well as desktop computers, such as Windows, Mac and Chrome. With our uncluttered and easy to use interface, you can speed up your workflow tremendously and produce your risk assessment reports immediately after doing your site inspections. All our cloud-based apps look similar and have some common features. So, before we create a complete report from scratch, I'll briefly explain the common features running across all our PocketSurvey apps. The button at the bottom left accesses all your reports, showing your building reports organised by town. At the top left, the main menu gives you access to valuable features such as the jobs calendar, location maps, jobs progress, users, client information, app setup features and helping support. PocketSurvey has a unique feature that allows you to customize the menus and report structure within the app setup. We'll come back to that later on. So let's look at a fire risk inspection I've already done to give you an overview of what comes out at the end. On the buildings list, I tap on a building and you'll see the front page photo and inspection status, and then below that you've got some buttons. We can add a fire risk checklist from the 15 built into the software. There's a button to create the PDF inspection report and one to open the generated PDF report. If we scroll down, you'll see which client this report belongs to. That is if you have multiple clients. You can turn off the clients feature in the app setup if you don't want to use it. The inspection details section shows the inspector, inspection date, inspection time, the type of inspection, followed by some free format descriptive notes. The building details section shows more information about the building. The important risk summary is shown next. Let's have a quick look at what the fire risk summary contains. Persons at risk, responsibility, and a risk summary of likelihood, consequences and the overall calculated risk. Most of the data entry items on this form uses menus and tick lists that you can modify in the app setup. We're not making any changes, so we can choose cancel. You would probably complete this section after you've assessed the whole building. Of course, the most essential part of the report is the fire risk checklist section. You will see all the fire risk checklist inspected organised by section. If you tap the view button, you can see the whole list for the building. You can add a fire risk checklist using the add button. We've identified 15 key areas of a fire risk survey and developed concise statements that address multiple compliance points within each area. Towards the end, you've got general building images such as floor plans, schematics and any image you want to add to your report. If you want to make changes to the inspection, select the Edit button. Let's scroll back to the top of the building record. To create your PDF report, choose the Create PDF Report button, and when the report is ready, select the Open PDF Report button. Let's look at a typical report in more detail. The front page is branded with your logo and your address. Then you've got your front photo of the building, plus an optional trade logo. Then you get an automatic table of contents, which is all hyperlinked, so you can jump to the different sections quickly. The report contains quite a lot of detailed information, all created at a click of a button. Some sections are optional, such as the inspection method, and can be turned off in the app setup. The overview section of the report shows inspection details, optional client details, building details. Then there's the executive fire risk overview. The fire risk calculation is shown in detail for your client, with colour-coded risk ratings in an easy-to-follow format. Then for each section of risk assessment, we show detailed information. This information is chosen from the inbuilt knowledge base in the app. It covers description of expected requirements, compliance status as yes, no or not applicable, list of defects, action recommendations. You can have up to 4 photos for each item. Each fire risk checklist section is shown in a similar format. Your clients will love the report format. Let's scroll down. Near the end there are some pages explaining the fire risk guidelines to your client. The quality assurance statement will show the inspector's signature, and if you've chosen to use quality checkers, their details as well. At the end you have your floor plans and any additional building images you've included in your report. If you want to save your PDF report, tap the download button to save it to your storage area. Let's close the PDF report and get back to the app. We can return to the buildings list by tapping the buildings icon at the bottom left. So let's start a new fire risk inspection to see how easy it is. Tap the Add button at the bottom right of the buildings list screen. You'll see a scrollable form with several fields to fill in. Most of these will be user configurable menus to speed up data entry. First, you can choose a client, or if you want to, add a new one. Let's add a new client organization. Then you can either add a client contact name or pick an existing one. You can store other information about your client, which is helpful if you want to contact your clients on site, and so you have a little client database. Then we can choose the inspector. You can have different classes of inspectors, like more powerful administrators. You can also have a client login where a client can access their reports via a client portal. Choose an inspection date and an inspection time. And then you can add some inspection notes if you want to. The inspection status menu helps you track the workflow of your reports. We use a color-coded pipeline approach where you go from schedule through to completed work. Remember, you can add this information on site or do it in the office if you prefer. Now let's add some building details. You have a place to add a building reference, or you can use a report reference instead. Adding addresses is easy since Google will search for the address if you start typing it in. You can import addresses in bulk using the import feature within the app. The building name is used to identify different buildings at the same address. We also have building type and an optional short description of the building. It's a good idea to allocate the report to a town, especially if you work nationwide. Enter other building details as required. Your reports will look much better with photos, and PocketSurvey makes this easy for you. So let's take a building photo. I'm going to choose one that I've already taken, because I'm using a desktop computer, but you would snap this on site directly from your camera. That's the photo added to the front page of your report. You use a similar approach when taking health and safety risk item photos. Then save to add your report to the buildings list. Now we've set up the first part of the report. We can now inspect the fire risk items in the building and enter information into the assessment. So we'll tap into the building record to view it, and you'll see the information we've entered so far. We tap the Add Checklist button to load the scrollable data entry form to assess a fire risk checklist. You should choose the checklist you want to use from the 15 available. Then you will see the compliance statements for this section. We can choose yes, no, or not applicable. If we choose no, you will get a list of defects to choose from. We can choose one or more from the list. The options in the defects list are configurable in the app setup. And you can also choose from a list of actions. Again, these are configurable in the app setup. Optionally, you can choose a timescale and responsibility, and then enter some free format notes if you wish. Let's take a photo. You can take up to 4 photos per risk section. The app will automatically launch the camera on your mobile device. However, I'll pick one from my computer because I'm demonstrating the app on a desktop. You can take more photos in a similar way. So that's one checklist done. Now choose Save. Once you've inspected all the items in your building using the checklists, you can now create your PDF report. You tap into the building record and choose the more prominent Create Report button. You will be prompted to confirm. It takes about 30 or 60 seconds while the software generates the report in the background. You can continue to work on other inspections while you are waiting. The Open Report button will appear when your report is ready. So far we've covered the essential aspects of creating a fire risk assessment report. As you've seen, it's quick and easy to do and produces a fantastic client report. At the beginning of this session, I briefly showed you some common features of all the PocketSurvey apps. I guess you'd like to see more details about these features. So I'm going to show you those now. The easiest way to get to the 3-bar menu is to tap the Home Buildings button at the bottom left. You will find these features when you tap the 3-bar menu at the top left. You'll see the common features running throughout all apps. So let's go into each one and explain in more detail. The Jobs Calendar lets you see your jobs by day, week, or month. If you click on a building address, you'll see the allocated time. You can then tap on it to view the building record. Let's go back to the calendar. You can always jump to today with the Today button at the top. Now let's look at the Maps feature. If you enter the postcode address, the Maps feature will show maps of all the buildings in your database. And as usual, you can tap to view the building record. If you want to get directions on site, you can scroll and then tap the View Map button. And this will launch Google Maps and allow you to get driving instructions by tapping the Get Driving Directions car icon. So that's the Maps feature. The Progress feature is handy for managing your workflow. The My Status screen on the left shows you the status of all your building reports. So if you tap Pending, you'll see all the pending building reports. Tap the collapse arrow if you want to go back up a level. The middle screen shows your building records in date order with the latest date at the top. You can view a record if you tap the middle of the form. If you tap the pencil icon, you can edit it. The screen to the right shows everything that still needs to be completed. With all these progress screens, you can add a new building record by tapping the plus icon. So that's the progress feature. Let's look at the users feature. As explained previously, you can have multiple types of users, such as an inspector only, an administrator who can configure the app, and a read-only client login. If you tap into a user, you can see details such as email, phone, address, signature, and so on. If you scroll down, you will see all the buildings they've inspected or quality checked. You can view the building record if you tap the middle of the form. If you tap the pencil icon, you can edit the report. So that's the user details. Let's back up a level. Let's look at clients. You can see all your clients in this list. If you scroll down to a particular client, such as Faster Surveys, you can see all your clients' details when you tap into the record. You can communicate with them on site with these buttons here on the right. You can also navigate to their address with Google Maps. If you scroll further down, you'll see all the buildings and reports scheduled or completed for this client. So that's the clients feature. Let's go back to the menu. The most revolutionary part of all the PocketSurvey apps is the app setup feature, where you can customize menus and report sections to suit your needs. You will see several configuration areas. Look at personal demonstration to learn more about these features. We can also control the report designed to customize the PDF report to your needs. If you want to export your data to spreadsheet files, you will need to update to the Pro version of the app. Now, remember to get your low-cost monthly subscription at a vastly reduced price. Remember, there's no obligation to carry on your subscription after the first month, and you've got access to free training and support. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to learn more about any of our PocketSurvey apps, please visit our website PocketSurvey.com, where you'll see lots of information about all our building and inspection software. So that's the PocketSurvey Light Fire Risk Assessment software in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the training session. Bye for now and see you soon.